She was 8. Sharp like morning light through a broken window. She didn't just love books, she inhaled them. Mathematics made her eyes shine. English made her hum. Her school was a well-known private primary school in Benin, the kind with flower beds, white fences, and big school buses. Me. I was the cleaner who swept those flower beds. Her father, Ifani, left us when Anuli was barely 2. No calls, no letters, no support. Just vanished into Lagos like a ghost. I became mother, father, and breadwinner. Washing people's clothes during the day, cleaning the school floors at night. But I never missed Anuli's PTA meetings. Not one. It was a Wednesday morning. The sun was too lazy to shine, and rain clouds had already started gathering. Anuli had just been selected to represent her class in an inter-school science quiz. She was excited, her first chance to wear the school badge outside the school gate. I remember how she hugged me that morning and said, "Mommy, one day they'll clap for me." But instead of cheers, the school accountant walked into her class, holding a long ledger. He didn't lower his voice. "Anuli Yuma. Stand up. Your school fees are overdue. 3,000 naira remaining. Leave your desk and go sit outside. Tell your mother until she pays, don't bother coming back." They made my daughter stand at the school gate in the rain. By the time I arrived, Anuli's books were soaked, and so were her eyes. She didn't cry loudly. Just sat there shivering, hugging her bag like it was the only thing left in the world that still respected her. I wrapped her in my wrapper and walked her home. That night, I wept. Not just for the school fees, but for the look in her eyes. The one that said, "Maybe I don't belong anywhere." That same night, I sewed the only fan in our room. Then the lace wrapper I wore for weddings. Then my Nokia 1100, the one Anuli used to play Snake on. I scraped together 2,800 naira and borrowed the remaining 200 naira from Mama Os, our neighbor. But when I returned to the school, receipt in hand, the secretary looked at me and said, "Too late. We've already struck her name off the register. You'll have to re-enroll next term." It was like they were saying, "She's not worth the wait." We couldn't afford the re-enrollment fee. So I moved her to Bright Day Primary School, a government school with no fence, no science lab, no functioning library. Sometimes classes held under mango trees. But Anuli never stopped reading. Not even once. 2 weeks after her transfer, I found a sheet of A4 paper taped to our zinc wall. On it, she'd written, "Mommy, I will make you proud." Beneath it, she drew a stick figure of a woman in gele holding a microphone, and a girl in glasses standing next to her holding a certificate. She meant it. Every word. We couldn't afford a generator. So Anuli studied with candles. When we ran out, she read under the moonlight or borrowed a torch from Mama Ebo, the tailor next door. She borrowed textbooks from friends. Did group reading in front of closed shops. When WAEC came, she wrote with a biro I had bought for 50 naira. She scored 9 A's. When JAM results came out, Anuli scored 298. We screamed. Neighbors came out thinking we had won the lottery. In a way, we had. She got a federal scholarship to study education and ICT at the University of Ibadan. I walked her to the park that day with a Ghana Moscow bag and 1,000 naira hidden in her bra. She turned at the door of the bus and said, "Mommy, I won't waste your sweat." And she didn't. For years later, I sat at the back row of a convocation hall so big it made me dizzy. Then I heard them call. Anuli Yuma, First Class Honors, Education and Information Technology. I stood up before anyone else. Tears falling like they'd been waiting for years to come out. Anuli walked across the stage, tall, confident, and smiling like the little girl who once drew dreams on A4 paper. She walked to me after and whispered, "They called me poor. Now they'll call me Ma. It was a hot August afternoon. I was frying akara when she ran in, laptop in hand. Mommy, you won't believe this. She had found a job posting. A prestigious private school in Benin, looking for an ICT consultant to train their teachers in digital learning. The school, Royal Fountain Academy. The same one that had expelled her 15 years earlier for 3,000 naira. She looked at me and said, "Should I apply?" I didn't even blink. "Let's iron your best shirt." She applied. Was shortlisted. Then came the invitation for an interview. The date. Exactly 15 years to the day she was expelled. She wore a blue blazer, natural hair in a bun, and black heels she had bought herself. As we stood in front of the same white gate, I asked her, "Are you nervous?" She smiled. "Only about which teacher I'll train first." She walked in like she owned the compound. The receptionist looked confused. "Can I help you?" "Yes. I'm Anuli. I have a 10 a.m. appointment." They ushered her into the same office where they once refused to collect her late school fees. The principal was new, young, and polite. But when Anuli began speaking, the vice principal walked in. It was Mr. Holiday, the same man who told her to go and sit outside. He didn't recognize her at first. Until Anuli said, gently, 15 years ago, you sent me out because my mother couldn't pay 3,000 naira. Silence. You could hear a pen drop. Then she added, "Today, I'm here to teach your staff how to use digital tools to improve learning." No bitterness in her voice. Just power. And grace. She was hired. Not just to train, but to lead a 3-month digital transformation program for the school. She designed lesson modules. Taught teachers how to use smart boards. Created an online quiz system for students. Mr. Olede avoided her eyes the first 2 weeks. But on the final day of the training, after applause filled the hall, he walked up to her, head slightly bowed. "Anuli, I'm sorry." She nodded. "I forgive you, sir." And that was it. No dramatic music. Just closure. 2 months later, Anuli launched a free digital literacy program for underfunded public schools in Benin. She called it Hope Bites. Named after hope, what I held onto when everything else was gone. She built it for students like her. Brilliant kids trapped by poverty. She hired local instructors, raised funds online, and distributed tablets with preloaded lessons. When I asked her why she was doing so much, she held my hand and said, "Mommy, you gave up everything for me. Now, it's your turn to rest." She opened a small shop for me. Painted the walls pink. Stocked it with all the things I once sold piece by piece. She even bought me a brand new Nokia phone, not because I needed one, but to replace the one I once gave up for her dreams. Years passed. Anuli became a well-known digital education expert. She got invited to panels, government workshops, and even TEDx talks. But no matter how far she went, she never forgot where it started. A rainy day. A gate. 3,000 naira. And a vow I made with clenched fists and tear-streaked cheeks. One day, they'll know her name. They do now. Not because she shouted it, but because she earned it. Line by line. Page by page. Dream by dream. And that brings us to the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for watching.